always had a good ear, and I was always a mimic and helped me get through a lot of stuff in my childhood to make people laugh. And so I brought that voice to Mother Townsend, and I have a feeling that George Lucas also watched those movies growing up, and he said, yeah, she's the one. So I'm very fortunate because she was another great acting, Granny Chio. Mother Townsend is another, she's a dark character, but she's, in her mind, she has a valid reason for being so evil in some ways. She's fighting more evil. So, and I won an award for that. I was very proud of that. Don't pop your piece. Behind the voice actors is a place on the internet, and I got Best Supporting Actress award for that from them. And I was up against, June Foray, who just passed away, who did Rocky, and I won, and it was like, and Kristen Wiig from Saturday Night Live. So it was a huge honor. And they were supposed to do a big backstory and keep it going, and then they sold it. And there she was gone. That's it. Hooray for her! Yes, sir.
When you worked on Digimon, did you get to meet any of the people still didn't have Laura Jo Miller? She's a favorite actress I want to meet one day, but did you get to meet her?
I don't think I worked with her. Laura Miller?
Jill Miller? You know who I'm talking about?
Laura Jane Miller?
Laura Jill Miller.
Jill Miller.
She did the voice of Kari in Digimon. She was
I probably do know her, but I can't remember meeting with her because we didn't, as I said, with these work jobs, we were in the booth by ourselves. So it was, maybe she'd come in after me, but no, I don't think I met her. Yes?
How the Power Rangers, how did you feel when you found out that Sorcery was going to be played by Johnny?
What's the question? Austin St. John what?
Wait, when you played Johnny Chio, in Chio, how did you feel when you found out Sorcery was going to be played by Johnny?
Oh, Johnny.
Yeah.
Well, I knew Johnny went into voiceover, that he decided to shift himself into that world because he's a singer, and a lot of singers go into voiceover. I used to do nightclubs, more comedy, character stuff, Baby Boop, and this character I did, Bolita del, Baby Rodriguez, and I do stand up and do these songs. And Johnny has a band, and he said, that's another way in. He's a daddy, and he wants to keep working. So I thought it was great because he really found a niche for himself. He's very, very talented. He knows how to do those action figure guys and do the on-camera stuff as well. He's an all-around actor, which is impressive. So I listened to that recently, and I thought, wow, that is a good scene between him and I. Really enjoyed it. I took myself out of the judgment level of it, acting and listening to yourself, to listen to the combination of the grandson and the grandmother. I mean, how often does a grandmother and grandson go into a samurai fight? It's pretty interesting. So I was, impressed with that. And he's great. Yes.
Me?
Next.
Oh, hi. I was just wondering, of all the characters that you have voiced and all the experiences you had, which character would you say gave you a personal development?
Oh, boy. Well, Rita gave me development in learning how to stand up for my rights with a company that didn't always, take the best care of their talent. Didn't, certain people respect talent more than others. And I cut my teeth on standing up for myself on certain things. So it gave me more, because you want to be humble and you want to be nice. And sometimes it doesn't behoove you to be too nice. So it taught me boundaries as a person, what my boundaries are, and what I'm willing to, suck up and, bite, swallow, and, or, say, no, this is not okay. And we, as a group, stood together on many things. I won't go into details, but as a group, we stood together, and it paid off for us to do that. Other jobs, like, well, I'd say that the whole acting career in general is like a Zen lesson, because you can't be attached to, you don't know when something's, you may work really hard to getting something, get 5 calls to try, callbacks that are called, and then get the job, and then you get it, like Fraggle Rock. I beat out 1,250 people, I was told, to do Red Fraggle. And I was so proud of that. Jim Henson said that we really, she was one of my favorites. And it was canceled after a year. I had just gotten an audition for Ninja Turtles for April, and they didn't get it, and I thought, who cares? I got Fraggle Rock. So you learn how to be punched in the gut a lot, and then you're one of those dolls that come back up. I still am always looking for the next job, but it's not, it's how your attitude is about it. And it's made me stronger as a person, and I think being an actor can really, break you down and make you bitter a lot of the time. Or you can say, all right, there's a lesson in this for me, next, moving on. And like, who knew that this was gonna happen, the Comic-Cons? I turned them down for the first 10 years because I thought nobody's gonna wanna meet me. And now when I went to the first one and I got all this acknowledgement, it was like, this is nice. I like this. So I hope I know I went off, but I hope that answered your question. Yes?
You work with great writers and great dialogue. Is there any dialogue that got you emotional? And then is there any character that you had trouble owning at one time?
Well, I got cast in something that I didn't know what it was about. And it was I had a young son, and it was offensive to me because it depicted women in a way that was not okay, and I didn't want to have my name on it. And I actually said, I didn't know that this was what the content was, and I can't do it. I'm sorry. And I never walked out on a project before. This is the one time. And I felt fine about it. But, when you're raising a son, you want to give him lessons about how to treat women, and this is a thing where it was horrendous. It was just so off base for me. So I wouldn't do that. But I didn't know ahead of time. It's best to know ahead of time. I will be able to help with writing a lot of the time, and if I say, can I say this another way? Can I rewrite this? Because this doesn't sound like speaking, like normal. It's not natural enough. I've gotten to the point where I'm old enough to say that. In the beginning I was like young, and you had to kind of say, is it okay if I? But now it's like, yeah, this is awful. I can't. Let's fix this. And so I will now. But sometimes there's nothing to fix because it's brilliantly written. And that's a thrill for me when it's written well. Usually a good writer will be open to improvements. And if they say, well, do it 2 ways. They do that too. They say, well, let's do it as written, and let's do your version, and let them decide. And that happens a lot too.